We don't hold like time, it's just dates on calendars. Moshe comes down and he's a little bit late. He walks in, but he goes, "Where's everybody?" And he walks over and goes, "You guys doing what?" And I'm like, "We know where you were. We were used to be like this, guys. It's heaven. I don't know, there was traffic on the highway. I was grabbing a bagel. You kidding me? I'm a little late from heaven and you're worshiping." I was like, "We're not scared." He goes, "Guys." Remember? Smash. Goes up, God goes, "I'll give him another chance." When does he go up to get the second tablets? Rosh Chodesh Elul. When does he come down? Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur was the first time in the history of the world where God looked at his people and said, "Forgive it. No, I mean it. I'm God, no grudges. Forgive it." And from that moment on, the light that shines into the world in Yom Kippur is a light of forgiveness. Yom Kippur has one, it's called Yom Kippur, it's Kapara. Din is Rosh Hashanah. We're done with judgment now. The light, the energy, the spirituality of Yom Kippur is whatever it is that we say sorry for, God says, forgive it. In fact, the rabbis teach us that every single day there's a heavenly court. And every single day at the heavenly court is an angel called the Satan, who stands as a prosecutor to say, "You think her is such a good..." No. Everything we do, we say sorry. He goes, "God, he's not really so sorry. Do me a favor. He's looking for something. Do me a favor." Every single day, there's a court going on. One day, he has the day off. Yom Kippur. In fact, the Gemara says that Hasatan is 364. Because it's connected to the solar calendar, that's connected to Asa. Because there's 365 days a year, and God goes, "One day, all expense to the Bahamas. See you later, enjoy yourself. Club Med on me, it's okay, I got miles." And God shows up on the day on Yom Kippur, and there's nobody prosecuting. And down on earth we go, "I'm sorry, we don't even mean it. I'm sorry." God goes, "Really? Any other objections to my kids saying, forgive it, forgive it, forgive it." What? Forgive me. Yom Kippur is spiritual tide. All day, for 25 hours, everything that we apologize for, God says, forgive it. I'm not judging you. I'm just giving you. Which is why the rabbi said, here's the deal. If we have to wait for the final verdict to come out, let's extend it a drop. Let's move it all the way past Yom Kippur. Because now, even though judgment took place 10 days earlier, if I can get God to not give that final verdict to Yom Kippur, I get my people to have one day where it's on the house. We have one day before that last seal comes down that whatever we ask for, whatever we apologize for, is completely free. And so Yom Kippur is the greatest gift we have for our souls, because Yom Kippur is the one time where whatever it is that we turn to God for, whatever it is that we want to fix inside us, God says, "I'm not asking questions today on the house." All we got to do is what's called tshuva. And the question is, what is tshuva? We think tshuva is repentance. We think the way it works is, we're not such great people, God's not so happy with us. Here's what we do. Show up this week, keep your head down, follow along, do whatever he wants. You want to throw the chicken over your head, say extra words, put your head down, come to shul, fast, do whatever it is. You're about to faint, it's okay, just keep on fasting, just keep on going. Whatever it is we got to do, just hold together 1 week of really being a good kid in class, and then when you're done, you get the good verdict, and then go back. Book of life, we're in the right book. Okay, I'm inside, my mind in the book of life. Okay, good, thanks. And then I go back to who I really am. But tshuva doesn't mean repentance. Tshuva means something different. What is tshuva? So, I have a friend of mine that I was recently by his house. He was in a community not that far from here. And we were talking. And he said to me that he's going through something very difficult. I said, "What's going on?" He goes, he's a very close friend of his that's going through a very tough year. I said, "Tell me what it is." He said, "Well, he's in his mid-30s, and he's just recently, family, kids, good job, everything. And within the year, he made a couple of moves in business that were a little below board. And they ended up blowing up in his face. He lost the money, he hurt people in the community, it became very embarrassing for him. And he literally went from a guy who was like a young star that was coming in a community to someone who couldn't walk in the shore. And as a result, he started to hang out with the guys that just weren't involved. And slowly, he was telling me, he started doing things that, like, he started doing drugs and going out all night and clubbing and not coming home at night and being abusive to his wife and spiraling down. And in 1 year, he goes from here and now he's in this rut. And every time they come up there to try to get him out, he can't. And he said to me, the most frustrating thing for his parents, who are going crazy, is that they are looking at their son and saying, this isn't you. He's saying, this is the kid that we're in high school, always came up with the ideas for how to do something and raise money for the school. This is the kid who we played baseball and the ball hit like the bird by mistake. It was a foul ball, the bird hits the floor, everyone's playing. This is the kid that comes over and was like crying for the bird. This is the guy that was always out, a guy who was abusive to his wife. And he would say, it's not you. If you just realize you'd get up, you'd wipe it off. It's not what you did. They forgive you already for what you did. You make mistakes. And he turns to his parents and goes, you don't know me. You don't know me. This is me. The axe had an implication. And it created almost like this black cloud around him until he thought he was someone that he really wasn't. And they can't get through because he doesn't know who he is. Tshuva is figuring out who we are. The goal of Yom Kippur is not kiss up so you get in the ledger. There's no real ledger. And there's not a physical one. The goal of Yom Kippur is to get to a point where we get clear with who we are. So the question is, who are we? And I believe the answer is found in 2 words. In one of the greatest exchanges in the entire Torah, in the exchange between one of the greatest 2 giants, in that exchange is nestled the secret to who we are. For everyone who knows, there's 2 major themes, 2 major players in the stories of the Torah. One is this daughter of Yaakov. Jacob had 2 major wives, Rachel, Rachel, and he had Leah. And each had one son that became a leader, Judah, Yehuda, and Yosef. And both of these individuals ended up becoming one of the greatest people in Israel. In fact, today when we see the world with these 2 individuals, and the first time that they clashed, in that clash is the secret to who we are. So allow me to tell you the story. Let me be a little more dramatic, a little dramatized to just a drop. The story begins with Jacob. A man, amongst other wives, married his soulmate. And he knew it from the beginning. As soon as he saw her, Rachel, that was it. He knew right away. I mean, we can't understand them, so we say these words, but they're greater than us. But just to understand this from our level, he looked over to somebody else and goes, this is my soulmate. Her father goes, work for me. He goes, I'll work forever. And everything she did, he knew exactly who she was, and he was connected to her on a deep spiritual level, and she died. Blown out. His soulmate, at a young age, in childbirth, died. And she had 2 kids. She died in childbirth of 1. She had a son named Yosef. He was about 8. And he turned to Yosef and here's the story, Yosef. He goes, listen, all your brothers are shepherds. It's great, but I miss your mom so much. You look like her. You talk like her. You stand next to me. And so all the boys grew up and they became shepherds. Yosef stood next to his father. And he grew up. And he got him a coat. And he taught him. And he watched him grow. And every moment that he missed his wife, he looked at her legacy. And there was a drop of consolation. And he became 12, 15, 17 years old. He was a teenager. He was already becoming a man. And at least he saw the legacy of his mom, of his wife. And one day he tells Joseph, do me a favor. Your brothers are in the tent. Want to get in? Remember the story? Goes to get the brothers. And you can imagine back then, there's no one texting when you get there, as far as I know. And he's waiting, and it's 5 minutes, and it's an hour, and it's 2 hours, and it's 3 hours, and he's pacing by the wall. He goes, what's taking him so long? I told him, it's not so far. And he's 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours waiting by the window. Where is he? And finally sees the brothers coming. He goes, about time. Guys, it's about time you guys get back. What's taking you so long? He goes, wait a second. Where's Yosef? And he asked the brother, what do you mean? Where's Yosef? Remember they threw him in the pit? And they sold him. Where's Yosef? He goes, well, who do you mean? What do you mean? He goes, where's Yosef? He goes, Dad, we didn't see him. He goes, what do you mean you didn't see him? I said, Yosef, like 5 hours ago. Where's Yosef? He goes, Dad, we didn't see him. He goes, are you crazy? Where else could he possibly be? I said to Yosef, where's Yosef? He goes, Dad, we didn't see him. And the one brother goes, well, we found this one woman. Maybe this means something to you? Can you imagine? This is his wife. And he picks up this coat. It was his coat. And it's dripping with blood. It was his wife. It was his son. He's knees to the grave in grief. And time goes on, and there's no more food. And they heard that Egypt has food, so the brothers go down to Egypt. And something weird happens in Egypt. The viceroy's got something in for these guys, and they catch them, they put them in a room, they interrogate them, and it comes out there's one more brother left from that mom. And the viceroy says, if you don't bring me back that brother, don't come back again. And they go back, and they go, Dad, and he goes, no way. And they go, Dad, and he goes, no way. I lost my wife, I lost my son, this is all I got left. Forget it. And they go, okay. And time goes on, and there's not enough food for them to live, and they go, Dad, we're all going to die. And one brother steps forward named Judah, Yehuda. He goes, Dad, I got him. He looks at Yehuda and goes, you watch your brother. You watch your brother, and you bring him back to me safely. Remember those days when like mom told you to watch your brother like you were 3? You're like, you turned into G.I. Joe, you know what I'm talking about? You're like, definitely, Mom, no problem. You can Dad go to the Bahamas, we're good. I got it, I'm 3, she's 1, I'm covered, right? Can you imagine what it must have been like? It's really happened. Judah goes down, right on the same camel as Benjamin. And they go down into Mitzrayim, and they walk, and everything looks fine. The king invites them in, and in front of him, they sit him down, they give him portions. He's so nice. He fills up the bags with hay, with wheat. Everyone's okay. He puts it on the carriages. It's all looking good. They leave. They back away. Everything's okay. They can't believe their luck. They're on the way back to Canaan. They go, you know what? Back in those days, you never traveled at night. It was dangerous. Let's stop in the inn. We'll go to bed. We'll lock the door. Tomorrow morning, we'll be in Canaan. Perfect. And they locked the door. You can imagine they probably put Benjamin in the corner, and they did rotations watching him. And just when the brothers were nodding off.
Just when the brothers were nodding off from exhaustion. Can you hear me in the back? Yeah, okay. Oh, become a technician. You got it. Thanks. Just when the brothers were nodding off from exhaustion, they hear a knock at the door. Bang, bang, bang.
Thank you. Bang, bang, bang. Who is it? Bang, bang, bang. Who is it? It's the police. Police. Can I help you, officers?